Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from Entitled People. Story 1 is by Personal Freedom 615. Bus Karen. The other day I was sitting on a bus that was only 20% full. I was sitting alone in a 4-seater at the front facing the direction of travel, designated disabled seats. A fit Karen in her mid-60s came in and demanded in a harsh tone of voice that I give her my seat, although 3 other seats were free. She said she had a bad shoulder. She even went to the bus driver to force him to remove me from my seat, which he did. You could see that he was a bit annoyed and just didn't feel like dealing with Karen. With a smug smile, she asked me to move again. Meanwhile, another passenger offered her to sit in his seat, which was the most comfortable, just as Karen wanted. But no, Karen wanted my seat. She said she didn't want to sit anywhere else, that her seat was my seat. When I finally stood up, she had the impudence to push me with her supposedly sick arm and called me a stupid cow. I pushed back. She yelled, "Don't hit me!" Me, "You just deliberately body-checked me with your sick arm. So rude. Your behavior is like off the street." Karen yelled, "You hit me, you stupid cow." She then explained unsolicited to the other passenger who had previously offered her a seat that she just couldn't sit anywhere else because she just had shoulder surgery. Karen was clearly looking for sympathy. The man's look at Karen was priceless and healing, a mixture of disgusted, totally annoyed, and rolling his eyes at her not saying a word. Karen mumbled ashamed into her collar, "But my shoulder." This person came onto a bus and made you move twice? The first time it says that she went to the bus driver and made you move, and you did move, and then she came to you and asked you to move again? She just can't sit anywhere else because of her shoulder. No, this person clearly had some bias against you. Maybe the bus driver has dealt with her before. Maybe he knows that it's better to just do anything to appease her, which would be terrible, but they do that sometimes. Still, you can say that she's so obnoxious to do this to you. There were people down in the comments that were speculating that this person is a minority, and they are, and they're also young. It would not surprise me if this was just a racist issue. Our next story is by Dutch Nuggie. Cheese Karen. I work as an assistant store manager at a supermarket, which is basically Entitled People Central, so let me share a story that happened today. I was busy restocking till a woman came up to me with a question if we had specific type of cheese. So I kindly told her that we didn't have that specific type of cheese, but I pointed her to a few types of cheese we do sell that are basically the same ones as she's looking for. Not the response the woman wanted. I think she wanted me to just summon the cheese out of thin air or something because she didn't agree we didn't sell that cheese. Insert long speech here. Yada yada, how can you not have the cheese I want? I want to point out the other cheeses once more till she walks to another fridge and gives me a big Karen smirk. "See? I knew it. You just didn't want to help me. The cheese I want is right here." Me, "Ma'am, that's not." She interrupts. "I can read, right?" And she walks off. Okay, Karen. What she didn't see, though, was that the cheese was indeed the type she wanted, but the vegan version. Which, in her rant, she stated she obviously wanted real cheese. So enjoy your vegan cheese, Karen. I've never eaten vegan cheese. I can't imagine that it tastes very good compared to the real thing. Maybe some of you know what it tastes like and you can weigh in on what it tastes like. Is it similar or is it bad? I guess she'll just find out when she gets home and tries it for the first time. Sometimes they willfully don't label packages well and they put a little tiny indicator on it that either says vegan or it says light or it says caffeine free, for example, if it's a soda. You definitely have to have good vision and read the packaging very carefully. Our last story today is by This Situation 5027, and this one is a bit of a long one. But the facilities here are better. I am more important than the church that owns this building. It was a Sunday morning. Our church is beside the local town hall, and they were having a dance comp there. We have a very small cafe area which gets quite stuffy. During the service, it became obvious that there were a lot of people coming into that area. Someone went out and there was obviously a problem, so several others of us also went out to see, 1, what was happening, and 2, if we could do anything. Some of the parents had decided they would bring their kids into the church to get them ready for their competitions, despite it being obvious we are nothing to do with the town hall. They have their signs, we have ours. The buildings are not attached. There is a fence between the two places. When that was pointed out and they were asked to leave, they informed everyone that the facilities at the town hall were no good and they had to use our building to get ready. One had the audacity to say, "But this is a church. You can't tell us we cannot use it." It was pointed out to them that it was clearly marked. There was a service going on and people would soon be coming out and needing the space. Entitled Mom took out the biggest can of hairspray I've ever seen and started spraying it all over the place, with a little of it actually hitting the head of the kid. Most of it went on the floor and tables. There were more than one entitled mother and entourages there, but she was the worst. The other entitled mother soon got the message and left, especially when one of our people went and got a bottle of spray cleaner, a rag, and floor cleaning stuff. She looked at them and said, "Well, you have to wait to clean it until after we've finished." A person that is not known for being subtle told her, "You are finished. This is not anything to do with your kids. We are using this space, and as a food service area, it must be clean." They opened the door to the outside and window. Being quite a windy day, of course her stuff flew everywhere. They took the can from her hand, threw it to the floor, and replaced it with the spray and rag. The kid and all the others by this stage had taken off, leaving her to face it alone. She ended up being coughing and sneezing all over as the aerosol had triggered many allergies. She tried to put the stuff down, but the tables just moved away from her. Why would the tables move away from her unless somebody is moving them? It ended when one of the admin staff came in and handed her her hire forms and told her that if she wanted to use the facility to prep her child, she could, but must book it in advance, and told her the cost, several $100s. In the end, she just dropped the stuff and ran off. Saw her and the kid when we came out. Turns out the kid had missed their entire time for the competition and they had been kicked out. She blamed us for not letting her use our facilities when she wanted to. Never heard so many saying "Bye, Karen" and "Bye, Felicia" to one person. Hope she learnt her lesson, but I doubt it. I know someone who had a family member at the same competition. Apparently she tried demanding that her kid be allowed to dance or have the fees, I think it was $200 plus, returned. Never happened, and it turns out the kid was removed from the dance school she went to as well, as a result of the mother being so entitled. Unfortunately, these entitled mothers cannot understand that their actions affect their kids as well. Down in the comments by Otherwise Topic 1791. At the church I grew up in, we constantly had people try to use the church or the church lot for ball games, weddings, family reunions, etc. Not trying to rent it, just showed up. When we told them to leave, they would usually threaten to call the police. Because we pay our taxes, so since this is public land, we can do whatever we want. Church land is not public land. Taxes don't go to churches to care for the upkeep on them. Underneath that by the OP. Exactly, and if we expected to have taxes spent to pay for the upkeep, bills, building, etc., they would complain because you can't use my taxes for a church. Further down underneath that by Synthetic God 8. All the more reason to keep church and state separate. Off topic, but if churches are going to endorse political leaders, they ought to not be tax exempt either. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have an excellent day.